Good afternoon, Land Golf Academy members and guests. And we got a good one today based on your poll that I released about a week ago, based on the swing analysis that you wanted to see. And Raymond Floyd finished a very close second, so let's just do Raymond Floyd. Raymond has a great swing. He's a great athlete, obviously a professional golfer, but he was also scouted as a professional MLB player, if you didn't know that. So we have somebody that is a athlete at heart. We're going to see a swing here that seems laid off, and there's a lot of rocking going on with his shoulders, but it's very imperative for his golf swing to work correctly. That's a big word, and I don't know where I got it from. But if you do like this at any time, hit that like and subscribe, share it with your friends, comment, thumbs up, whatever you want to do, but really help us out, and your support will help us get funding to send down to Cape Flats, South Africa for the Hillerhood Project to get kids into the game of golf. But other than that, let's get ready to see the great Raymond Floyd. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have Raymond Floyd on the screen. We have two Raymond Floyds. No, that's not his twin brother. The left side is an older version of him. The right side, slightly newer version of him. Two different clubs. One on the left side seems to be a long iron. The one on the right side is a short iron. I scoured the internet. I could not find a face on, and I'm not sure why I can't find it. Maybe he's got some secret move that they want to pull it down from YouTube and package it up and sell it for 4 easy payments of $19.95. But whatever the reason is, I wanted to show you this down the line because if you saw my last video, there was a question about over the top from the inside, which is basically a reverse loop. Think of Jim Furyk, but the other way, and this man does it. Now keep in mind, Raymond Floyd is an exceptional athlete. In fact, he was drafted by a team in the Major League Baseball, given a $25,000 signing bonus to pitch, and as a hobby when he was single, he would work out throwing pitches to batters and catchers to help them with their timing. But keep that in mind, he chose golf because he felt he was better at golf. So we are looking at a phenomenal athlete with great hand-eye coordination. Clearly not one of us, but we can learn from his motions. So I'll put a box around his head, and that's very important because his head will counteract the backswing of his club. So let's first do a quick analysis on his setup. We can see from this point of view, we can see from the centerness of his feet, the arch, we can see that it gets pretty close to those intersecting lines on both of these. So we can see his upper body is slightly forward of center, so I would imagine it's slightly toe-based. But let's take a look as he takes that club back and see what happens. As we take the club back, we can see that the club head clearly goes way inside compared to today's standards. But also notice what happens is his head starts to move forward. Now this is a counteractive force. As that club is pulling back, his head has to move forward to counteract that, and we start seeing the head come out of the box and lean forward. But let's take a look at where that shaft is. In our favorite Barney Purple again, we can see that that shaft is already well below that lower plane line. And let's go from here up and watch that head. The head's going to come out of the box on both of these. We can see the longer club comes out a little bit, the shorter club comes out and down a little bit. Now some of this could be camera shifting because that camera is not on a tripod, but it's still pretty close to see that motion. And what we'll notice to confirm this is we take a look at that spine angle has also shifted slightly forward of where it was. I'm not talking about the angle, I'm talking about the actual shifting of the spine angle moving closer to the golf ball. But let's take a look at what that left forearm led to. So the left forearm got to his secondary plane line. Now keep in mind that these plane lines are just here for cause and effect. They're not to preach a certain style. They're just looking at how things occur. We can see that left leg really breaking in. This is a sign that he's not shifting much weight over from right to left, but he's actually staying more centered a la Jack Nicklaus. So if we did have a face-on view, we probably would not see a lot of lateral shift. We'd probably just see turning around the centeredness, which is what a golf swing looked like a few generations ago. But one thing that you will notice is the amount of effort that this club shaft does not have to do because it is sitting pretty close to that top plane line. So we take a look at where that club shaft is. We see there's not going to be a lot of manipulation from here. He would just basically pull his hands down and turn. The longer club is slightly laid off, but I attribute this to the camera angle. If this camera angle was pulled back left slightly, it might look closer to the one on the right side, but still for a long club there's going to be not a lot of manipulation that has to take place. So let's take a look. We're going to do our triangle check, Barney Purple for this one, and let's do the quick triangle check. You'll notice that the shorter club on the right side is going to be more steep just because that's the way we swing down on the golf ball with the shorter club. The one on the left side is not as steep. Let's see if that butt of the club pulls down. It does pull down, and forgive the blurriness of this 8-bit video. The one on the right side, we can see those hands pretty much follow that arrow going straight down. So both triangle checks techs are good. So basically what you can learn from this is wherever that triangle is at the top of your swing, however that motion moves down is key. If you see your hands moving outside of the triangle this way first, that means you are turning too much and you might have very steep motion, slashing over the golf ball. On the contrary, if you see that triangle pulling down too soon, that means your hands are dropping too soon and you might have some contact issues with hitting earth first. Okay, so we got the shaft lines in a orange arrow, and let's take a look at what happens. So we definitely see those arms dropping to allow that shaft to reach that lower plane line quicker. And as we get down into impact, now we can see from this point on both swings, watch the amount of body turn. So here to here is mostly body turn because the hands are in the right place. They've dropped down and they're still matching the lower plane line. And from here, we just deliver that angle with our body. So he does a really good job of not manipulating much of the club head just because of that takeaway and how he gets that club shaft to meet his upper plane line. Let's back it up a little bit and redraw these shaft line angles that we can see as we come on down through. This one's slightly blurry. This one's already caught up to about here, but we can see that the amount of manipulation is very minimal, which allowed him to deliver the power from this point on through impact. And we saw that with the body rotation. As we come on through, we can see past impact. Look at how straight the one on the right side is. And let's find the one on the left side. It's fairly straight. And again, it could be the camera angle on the left side, which is why we see that club shaft getting a little bit higher. But if this camera was panned a little bit more to the left, it might be in between those two yellow lines. But what can you see? That there's very little shaft manipulation on the right side, and the left side we see very little shaft manipulation. So is inside and then over the top inside a good swing? Yeah, you look at this, it looks pretty decent, but in order to do this, you have to have great body turn at impact and an increase of tilt. So let's clear these lines up and look at the increase of tilt past impact. And look at the head position. It is almost out of the box completely. That is ensuring that he is striking down on both of these golf balls by moving that right shoulder, tilting down. It tilts everything down with that. But you cannot do this position unless you get your body cleared out of the way. And you can see both of these positions. Look at the footwork. The body is moving. It's rotating. It's pushing off, clearing the space to allow the right shoulder to dip down and strike the golf ball. We're going to pull up our angle tool and look at what the spine angle is. You can see that both 57, 56. Now, no, this is not exact because we're just eyeballing in here. But the key thing is, do we maintain those tilting on the way back? So if we go to the top of the swing here on both of these, and now let's draw this one, and we can probably see it's flattened out and the top of the short iron, and we can see both of these have flattened out. So we're losing 20 to 25 degrees of tilt, and that is also a result of pulling the club head behind you. Your left shoulder typically raises up to get your hands to go behind you. If you add more tilt, the hands typically go out and away from you. So somebody with a very steep swing might have increased their tilt or remained neutral to their setup angle. But let's take a look right at impact. Let's go just past impact here on both of these, and let's redraw this angle and see what that number is. So now it is 63 degrees, where this one is roughly 65 degrees. So you can see the angles are about the same with a long iron and a short iron, and the shoulders work about the same. So in total, he gets to impact with about 10 degrees more tilting, but he loses 20 to 25 degrees tilting on the way back. So we can see how much of the shoulders play a part in his swing, and they play a part in his swing because of the way the club moves on the way back. So we see a lot of this motion on the club head that controls the tilting, but he counteracts that tilt at impact to control the club head on the way through. So they do work hand in hand, but he needs that body structure and that style, and he definitely needs a lot of hand-eye coordination to help him strike. When the shoulders are losing some tilt and then adding some tilt, that puts a lot of pressure on his hand-eye coordination, which is why it explains he was a very good pitcher as well. So long story short, if you are not a competitive athlete, you're probably not going to get in these positions, but we can learn about cause and effect, and that's all this channel is about. So if you do like that, hit that like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. But other than that, you guys have a great Christmas, great New Year's. Be safe. Don't drink too much Christmas sherry, or do drink too much Christmas sherry. Whatever your choice is, you have a good one, and I'll see you guys next year. Happy holidays.